Welcome back to the Bad Influence podcast, where we don't just sugarcoat your struggles, we help you conquer them. Today, we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for me. I'm going to be talking about the Hurried Child Syndrome. Now, you may be thinking, what the fuck is that, Jordan? Well, if you've ever felt like you were pushed to grow up too fast, forced to act beyond your years, and made to carry responsibilities way too early, then you've probably dealt with Hurried Child Syndrome without even knowing it. Trust me, I've been there, and it's not something you just grow out of. No, you don't. So let me break it down for you. Hurried child syndrome is when children are forced to act like adults way before they're ready. This happens a lot when parents overbook their children's schedules, drive them hard for academic achievement, and expect them to act and respond like miniature adults. That happened to me, and I've seen it so many times outside with my friends, outside of my house with my friends and with neighbors and a lot of fucking people online. And here's the problem. This rush can lead to severe emotional, mental, and even physical problems that follow them into adulthood. When you're constantly being told to hurry up, you need to do this or that, or to grow up, you start to fucking internalize that pressure. It impacts how you see yourself, how you handle stress, and how you deal with relationships, work, and everything in between. But here's the thing. Just because you were forced to grow up fast doesn't mean you have to keep living in that rush mindset. So today, I'm going to share my personal story of overcoming Hurried Child Syndrome, the steps I took to break free from that mindset, and how you can do the same. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the need to always be on, or like you have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, this episode is for you. We're going to talk about the emotional toll, the physical health consequences, and the tools you need to finally slow down, breathe, and start living life on your own fucking terms. So here's the problem. Hurried child syndrome sets you up for a lifetime of feeling like you're always behind. At least that's how I felt. You're constantly trying to catch up, trying to meet expectations that were never realistic in the first place. And let me tell you, that shit is exhausting. When you're a kid who's forced to act like an adult, you don't get the chance to be a kid. You don't get the chance to grow at your own pace, to make mistakes, or to just breathe. You're always in a fucking rush, moving from one thing to the next, just like literally never slowing down. And that pressure doesn't go away when you grow up. It sticks with you. For me, this showed up in so many ways. Because growing up, I was left alone a lot, and I had to take care of myself. My mom wasn't around, and I was forced to handle things that no kid should have to deal with. I was always in a rush, rushing to grow up, rushing to figure things out, rushing to be responsible for myself and others. And when you're always in a hurry, it becomes part of who you are. You start to believe that if you're not constantly doing something, you're failing. That's the mental trap that Hurried Child Syndrome sets for you. And like I said, this follows you all the way into adulthood. And let me tell you, that mindset is fucking toxic because it leads to burnout, anxiety, and feelings of never being enough. You're constantly trying to fix everything and everyone around you, and you end up neglecting yourself in the process. So, how do you break free from this? How do you overcome that internal pressure to always be in a hurry? My breaking point came when my wife got sick. I've talked about this before, but it was a huge wake up call for me. I realized that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and worse, I felt like I was supposed to know. I felt like I was supposed to know how to take care of my wife, how to talk to doctors, how to literally handle the medicines, everything. I felt this overwhelming pressure to take care of everything, her health, our household, everything. But the truth was, I didn't know how. And that's when I realized that I'd been carrying this burden of having to know everything since I was a fucking kid. That's what Hurried Child Syndrome did to me. It made me believe that I always had to have the answers, even when I didn't. Because growing up, I watched my mom take care of my grandpa. And in my mind, I thought, okay, I'm supposed to do the same. I didn't realize it then, but I was internalizing this idea that I had to fix everything. When my mom left me alone for days at a time, I had to take care of myself. I learned how to be self-reliant, but in a way that wasn't healthy. It wasn't just about survival. It was about taking on responsibilities that no kid should have to bear. And that mindset followed me into adulthood. When my wife got sick, all those old feelings came rushing back. I thought I have to fix this. I have to know what to do. But I didn't. I did not know anything. And that's when I realized that something needed to change. I couldn't keep living in that rush mindset. I couldn't keep believing that I had to have all the answers. So I did the only thing I thought was good for me, and I went to therapy. I started digging into where these feelings were coming from, and I realized that they were rooted in my childhood. I was still carrying the weight of Hurried Child Syndrome, and it was time to let that shit go. Therapy helped me become self-aware of this. It helped me fucking understand that I didn't have to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. I learned to reframe my thinking, to realize that a lot of the pressure I was feeling, it wasn't my fault. It was a result of the environment I grew up in. And that's when I started to heal. That's when I started to move forward. That's when I started to slow down and focus on taking care of myself, not just everyone else. So, what does Hurried Child Syndrome look like in adulthood? For starters, it shows up in your physical health. When you're always in a hurry, you don't take care of yourself. You don't eat right because you're always on the go, grabbing whatever's quick and easy. I've done that. You don't sleep enough because your mind is always racing, thinking about what needs to be done. And you definitely don't exercise because you're too drained to even think about it. So your health starts to decline. You gain weight. You become pre-diabetic. Like in my case, you become pre-diabetic. You start getting sick, and then it just that your health declines so much that you get so sick and you can't do anything about it but manage it with medication. And let's not forget the mental and emotional toll. You're constantly stressed, always feeling like you're not doing enough, and even when you are doing too much, you still feel like you're not doing enough. It's like running on a hamster wheel. You're going nowhere fast, but you can't stop because you're convinced that if you do, everything will fall apart. How many of you have done that or have felt like that? I have done that so many times in my life. But that's what happens when you grow up too fast. You lose the ability to slow down. But here's the thing. You don't have to keep living like that. You can break free from that rush mindset, but it's going to take work, a lot of fucking work. The first step is recognizing the signs. Are you constantly exhausted? Are you always trying to fix everyone else's problems at the expense of your own well-being? Do you feel like you're always behind no matter how much you accomplish? If so, you might be dealing with Hurried Child Syndrome. But the good news is that you can overcome it. You can learn to slow down, to prioritize your own needs, and to stop feeling like you have to have all the answers. Because you don't. You won't be able to have all the answers in life. You can overcome this problem, but you must prioritize your health, both physical and mental. You've got to slow down and start taking care of yourself. That means getting enough sleep, eating right, and making time for physical activity. I know it sounds basic, but trust me, these small changes make a huge difference. When you're constantly rushing, your body and mind pay the price. You've got to give yourself permission to rest. Next, limit your extracurricular activities, especially if they're draining you. Whether it's school activities, work projects, or even social obligations, you don't have to say yes to everything. Learn to set boundaries and protect your time. You need breaks, you need downtime, you need time to just be not always doing something. You can watch TV for like an hour, just relax, lay down, give yourself a massage, go to a spa, whatever helps you in this situation. Another key tool is learning to celebrate small achievements. When you're dealing with Hurried Child Syndrome, it's so easy to focus on what you haven't done instead of what you've accomplished. Probably you have done that. But doing this, it's a fucking trap. You've got to shift your focus and start celebrating the small wins. Every step forward is progress, and you deserve to acknowledge that. Remember, it's about effort, not outcome. Because as long as you give effort, you're going to reach the outcome of whatever you're doing. You have to be consistent. You have to keep giving 100% of your effort. Always practice self-reflection. Take time every day to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Am I overworking myself? Am I neglecting my own needs? Self-awareness is the key to breaking free from the rush mindset. Again, this has helped me so much. And the reason why this helps is because when you're aware of how you're feeling and why, you can make better decisions about how to take care of yourself. And you may be thinking, okay, Jordan, I get it. I need to slow down. But how do I actually do that? And that's a good question. I ask myself the same fucking question, and the answer is simple. It took me a few years to find it, but it's simple in the end. Unfortunately, it's not always easy. But you've got to give yourself permission to let go of the pressure. You've got to stop believing that you have to have all the answers or that you have to fix everything. Because you don't have to fix everything. And the world isn't going to fall apart if you take a break. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't do. They don't take breaks because they feel like if they do, everything's going to fall apart. But that never happens. That never happens, though. One of the most powerful things I've learned is that self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're always running on empty, you're not going to be able to take care of yourself or anyone else. So, start by giving yourself permission to rest. Take a break. Slow down. Trust me, everything will still be there when you come back. There won't be a fire, there won't be an explosion or anything like that in your life if you take a break. Okay? I want you to understand that. Another key tool to overcome this problem is that you must learn to focus on what you can control. When you grow up too fast, you start to believe that you have to control everything in order for you to be okay. But the truth is, there's a lot in life that's out of your hands. You can't fix everything. And that's okay. Focus on what you can control, your health, your mindset, your actions, and let go of the rest. Be patient with yourself. Breaking free from Hurried Child Syndrome isn't something that happens overnight. It won't happen overnight, I can tell you that. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a lot of self-compassion. But the more you practice these tools, the easier it gets. And before you know it, you'll start to feel the weight lift. You'll start to feel more in control of your life, and you'll finally be able to breathe. So, if you've been living your life in a constant rush, if you've been feeling like you have to fix everything and everyone around you, I want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself that it's okay to slow down. You don't have to live in that rush mindset anymore. You can take control of your life, but you've got to start by taking care of yourself first. Remember, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what's right for you. It's about learning to prioritize your health, your well-being, and your peace of mind. You don't have to have all the answers, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Let go of that shit, because that shit is literally holding you back. And in the end, because of all the stress, because of the neglect of your health, you're going to get sick, and it literally can put you in a grave. Stress kills. And if you have had to deal with this for a really long time, like in my case, for over 30 years, that can kill you when you're like 60, 70, and you haven't dealt with this because of all that stress. Your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure is high, there's diabetes. There's so many things that happen that can kill you because of this fucking syndrome. Your body will let you know, hey, I'm too rushed. And if you're going through this, please take care of yourself. You deserve it. Your kids deserve it. Your wife, your spouse, anybody around you deserves the best version of you. Okay? So you need to take care of yourself in order for you to be able to do that. To give them the best version of yourself. A version that is not rushed. A version that is calm, cool, and collected. And that's what you need to become, especially in today's world where everybody's fucking rushing, right? Everybody's rushing. There's so much information out there, so everybody's rushing and nobody's taking care of themselves. I've seen it, I've done it, and that's why I'm talking about it. So start today to take care of yourself. Don't let this hurried child syndrome control you and literally at one point in your life put you in the grave because of all that stress. Work on it, overcome it, and control your life. Control your mind, control your thoughts, control everything about you. Take control of your mind. And that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in to the Bad Influence podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's spread the word that it's okay to slow down, that self-care is essential, and that we all deserve to live at our own pace. Until next time, stay true to yourself, keep pushing forward, and remember, your well-being comes first. And have a great day.